Awesome. I will say welcome again to you guys. We will start the interview now. Thank you for taking the time today. Maybe we can start with that you tell your name, your age, what your profession is, and then what city you're living in right now, and how it is to live with your host family.
Do you want to go first, Ty?
Sure. I'm 21. I'm living in Hingham, Massachusetts right now. I'm originally from Princeton, Illinois. My background is in special needs care providing, and then I had a specialty as a paraprofessional or an educator in special needs classrooms as well. I substituted that in my free time. And it's been a great experience being here. I would have told you I didn't actually plan on this job. I actually went through Indeed, and there was about, I think, like 58 job applications that I filled out. Apex happened to call me back and offer me a job like first, and then I interviewed with the family that I'm with now. It was kind of a one and done situation. They needed a care professional. I interviewed with them. I loved the family. So I came here with them. It's a beautiful town right across the street from the water. Beautiful house, beautiful family. So it's been a great experience overall. It's allowed me to go back to college from the educational stipend they offer. And I've just recently obtained my bachelor's degree in business administration and marketing. So I'm making a shift back to the business world. Yeah. So I just achieved that. So that's a little bit of a recap of what I've been working on that for like the last 21 months. So pretty much the majority of my 24-month contract here, I've been working on that. So that's like a little recap of what I've been doing.
Amazing.
I'm Meg. I'm 25, and I am in Westfield, New Jersey now. And I came from Boston, actually right around where Ty is now, is where I'm from. And I have my teaching degree, but I also worked as a paraprofessional for many years before I came to New Jersey. And it was the same situation. I interviewed with my host family, and I loved them. And I actually found out about Apex through Ty's host family because I worked for them while I was in college. Yeah. So I was just part-time for them on weekends, and she told me that Apex had an American program. And I was like, oh, okay. So when I graduated college, I was like, I'm going to do that. So that's how I ended up in New Jersey. And I love my host family so much. I've been with them for 4 years now. So I know this is my last year. But yeah.
That's crazy. Amazing. I love to hear that. Do you want to share a little bit maybe about what your host childs have and what is a little bit different, like to choose Apex instead of like a regular au pair company?
Yeah, so my host child has RTS, Rubenstein-Taybi syndrome, autism, epilepsy, and those are like the major diagnoses he has. And so, you know, so there's a lot of daily care that's involved with him, and a lot of care that needs to be like personalized. So I find that this position is different than from a regular caregiving position in the US due to the fact that that I can tailor this and make it more personalized to him, and I'm only caring for one individual instead of, you know, let's say in a regular group home you're caring for 8 individuals at a time. So I really get to have that one-on-one time with him, and tailor everything I'm doing to him to make sure, you know, it's for the best of him and everything he needs as well. So I would say that's probably a big difference going with Apex and being a live-in versus like just being a regular caregiver in like a group home or a situation like that.
Awesome. Thank you. What about you, Megan?
My host child has severe autism as well, and he has Tourette syndrome. So he has a lot of anxiety and stuff like that. But yeah, he's like my best friend in the whole world. He's 21, so the American program, you're for the most part working with kids who are older. And it's nice to have a child so close to my age almost, because I can really focus on life skills. And, you know, he loves to go shopping, as do I. So we often go to Target, and I can teach him how to scan the items and use his card. And it's a totally different experience from, again, working, like Ty said, with 8 different kids at once, which you do in a school setting. And now you're one-on-one, and you can figure out their tics and what makes them like motivated and triggered or whatever. But it's really helpful, and you can see how, at least for me as a teacher, everything was so a certain way in a school setting, and you don't really know what students are doing outside of school and how they're kind of reaching those goals. So it's given me so much insight into how things are handled in a home setting with families and different caretakers, and it's allowed me to kind of help the family and support system as well, which is nice. So
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Megan. I had the exact same experience. I worked as an OT in Germany in an occupational therapy practice, and my clients came like for 45 minutes once a week. So the most part of the therapy was like me teaching the parents how they can deal with all kinds of things at home. So for me, it was a huge advantage to be with a child with special needs and be in their home environment and can implement all those things, you know? So I totally agree with you.
I know it is nice. Sorry, I have to plug my computer in because it's about to die, but I'm
All
so
good. All good. Did you had any doubts or fears before you decided to go on that adventure?
Wow. Yeah, actually living in Massachusetts is the first time I've ever lived out of my home state. Even my like outside of a 20-mile radius of my hometown. So I would say it was a little nerve-wracking to make such a huge change. But at the same time, I think I felt confident because I had, I think, like around 6 interviews. Or well, not completely interviews. I had like 3 interviews and then 3 video calls on like every week until I came. And it allowed me to gain a relationship with the host family, and that allowed me to kind of be more comfortable with them once I arrived here, and kind of take that nervousness out of the picture a little bit. I was still a little nervous, and I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't really know what was going to happen. You know, for me, it's like I was jumping on an airplane to move in a stranger's house and work for them. So, I mean, it's definitely a little bit of a different experience than a normal job. But I think it's been very beneficial for me, you know, personally, professionally. I've had a lot of growth in my time being here. And my host family has, you know, as well has helped me in that growth as well and supported me in that growth in my time here as well. So yes, to answer your question, yes, a little nerve-wracking, but you know, I think if you can see the positives through it, you know, it's not as nerve-wracking, you know, especially if it's a positive change. So
I agree. There's so much of advantage in comparison to the step you're doing, and it gives you so much more back. And if you're like stepping over and starting that adventure, it opens up so much more. How was it with you, Megan?
I was also very nervous. I mean, I think I can be a very anxious person socially, so I think coming to a new state where I didn't know anybody at all was super scary for me. But it definitely pushed me to be more social and come out of my shell a lot. And I remember when I first moved here, I would just go do things by myself, which I was not used to, especially I was in college surrounded by like all these people all the time. So I moved here and I definitely came out of my shell, and I kind of forced myself to, you know, talk to people in these situations and, you know, make new friends. And now I have a whole community here, which is amazing. So, and also it's nerve-wracking moving in with a bunch of strangers. I mean, you're like, oh, I'm going to this random house, like, but I mean, you definitely get to know in your interview process who your host family is. And I was lucky enough that my host family lived 4 hours from me, so I came and visited before I like accepted the offer from them. So I had met them, I knew what I was getting into, and now they're like a second family to me, which is awesome.
Oh, that's amazing. I love to hear that. I can tell you I had those fears too, because it's so weird to just meet somebody on a video call and then like, okay, I will go into the plane, I will cross the Atlantic Ocean, and I will live with you now for 2 years. So yeah, I totally have had the same experience. But there's Susan. Hi, Susan. Can you
Hello,
hear us?
I'm on my way back from school drop off.
All good. We just already discussed a couple questions. We were about like what were the fears from Megan and Ty before they came here and did that adventure. So was there anything where you would say was a turning point, like that you decided, okay, I will do that now? Even that you had your fears?
Yeah, I would say that I think the biggest turning point for me was the educational stipend offer. And then as well being able to, build personally, professionally, in my current role. And I think that also can translate into other roles, if you pivot those experiences just right. So even though I came here kind of unsure what I wanted to do, I spoke with my host family a lot. And, they kind of helped me make the decision that, college could be right for me. And that's when I decided to go online. So I could do it when the host child's at school as well. And then I kind of did a lot of research and found I wanted to go into business once I was here. So I would say the biggest turning point, like that I was really like, yes, I want to do this, is seeing through, all of the anxiety and fears of, going to live somewhere else, and kind of seeing the positives of using it as an experience to better my life, personally, professionally. And then just know that, even if this wasn't the career path that I was sticking with for the long term in the healthcare, that I could use a lot of these experiences and pivot them into the business world as well. So I think that was the major turning point for me.
Awesome. Did that also help you, like the experience? We will talk about the requirements and all stuff the advantages you have in your family. We'll talk about that later again. But did that help you also to have a little bit of a freedom to think about, hey, what I really want to do for my future? Do I want to go into business? Do I want to stay in the health section? Like, did that give you a little bit of freedom to decide?
I definitely think by accepting this position, it gave me some freedom to, kind of understand my options and really kind of take some time to figure out what it really was that I really wanted to get into, and really dig down deep and figure that out, and, get a really solid answer to that question. So, I think that was a great opportunity that you really get the chance to think, and the freedom. I'm not like, applying to a 4-year university right away where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to know what I want to do right now. I kind of get it. I got to come in, kind of think about it for a few months. And I would have told you when I first came here, I would have never went to college. That would have been my answer. If you would ask me when I first started the program, I would have been like, nope, I'm doing this program. It's a great job, and I'm never going to college. But after speaking with my host family, and the host child's siblings and the dad and the mom, it really, they helped me make a solidified decision to really decide that, hey, going back to college doesn't have to be a scary thing. It can be a beautiful thing. And I think going back to an online university really helped me make that decision too, because I wasn't like trying to throw away my life for 4 years. I got to come here, still have a life, still go to work. And the schedule just lined out perfectly to also do college at the same time.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you that you found your path and you finished it. That's really amazing. What about you, Megan?
I think a little similar to Ty. I think the turning point for me to like overcome the anxiety and come here was I was feeling a little lost after I graduated. I graduated with my teaching degree, and I knew that I wanted to work in the special education field, but I had been in a school setting for a couple years at that point, and I think I was feeling a little overwhelmed, and I was like, I can't run a classroom by myself. Like, this is crazy. So yeah, I think that was a big push for me to come here. And I also wanted to be somewhere that wasn't Massachusetts. I grew up there. I was there for 22 years, and I figured if there was a time for me to move somewhere else and have no ties to Massachusetts besides my family, now's the time. I didn't have a significant other. I didn't have kids. I didn't have anything holding me back in Massachusetts. So that was a big push for me. I wanted to move and experience something new.
Yeah, I agree. The 20s are the time where you can do that, right? Where you're not tied to family yet, and do something for your professional and personally career, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you. Can you describe a little bit how your everyday looks like right now in the host family? Like what your schedules are, how is it to work with the kids? Like, do they have therapies? Can you attend the therapies? Yeah. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so my day starts at 5:30 in the morning every day, Monday through Friday. He has a G-tube, so we have to hook it up at 5:30, so it's done in time for his school to get him up and ready for school. So I do that, and then I have an hour break from the time I hook him up until the time I have to start getting him ready for school. So from 7 to 8:30, then I get him up, ready for school, brush his teeth. My child is in a wheelchair and requires total assist in every activity of everyday life. So, we're doing everything for him, brushing his teeth, getting him dressed, getting him ready, hair done, all that. And then I get him off to school. And then I have about a 6-ish hour window where I'm free. I get to do what I want to do. When I was in school, I was doing school. Now that I graduated, I kind of just have some chill time to kind of do, me time and do what I want to do. And then my host child arrives back home from school around 3:45 p.m. on the bus. And then I'm with him from that time he gets home all the way until bedtime at 9 p.m. And in that time frame, I'm doing everything from medications, prepping everything for the nighttime, giving him dinner, cooking dinner, cleaning up from dinner, getting him down for bed, turning on a movie if he wishes, things like that. So pretty much just all the activities that we would do, I'm assisting him in doing those as well.
Awesome.
And then he has no therapies right now. We were in physical therapy, rehab, physical therapy. We got discharged, so no therapy right now. I'm just maintaining some of the things that I was taught in the physical therapy at home on a daily basis in that time frame, like after school. And then I attend him pretty much anywhere he goes. So if it's the doctors, we're going to the doctors, or wherever, vacation. And then I kind of get to sit in on those and hear about, different things that the doctors are thinking. And, I think that is a nice situation as well, which is a little different from being a regular caregiver, right? I get to go into these doctor's appointments and, really brainstorm with the mom, maybe if there's some tough decisions. And then, we kind of together get to come up with like the best solution for him and be able to bounce things off of each other. So that's pretty much what our day-to-day life looks like. And starts at 5:30 and ends at 9 p.m. So.
Wow, you're doing a lot. That's amazing. But that also gives you a big picture of how it is to have a child with special needs and how it is to live with a child with special needs, right?
Exactly. Definitely.
Thank you. What about you, Megan?
Okay, mine, I luckily start a little later than Ty. I start at 7-ish, and I get my my host child ready for school, and so that's packing his lunchbox, helping him get dressed, brush his teeth, brush his hair, and he's usually on the bus by 8. And then he's at school, and usually around 3:34 he comes home off the bus, and depending the day, he has ABA therapy, he has speech therapy, and he has OT. Which his ABA sessions, I work with his ABA therapist to kind of come up with new things for him to do, new activities, new skills to work on. So, but I'm not really on with him while he's with them because he sometimes gets overwhelmed when there's too many people there. But I am on for his speech sessions, which a lot of the time we're going out in the community and doing speech in the community. So I will always go with them. And then, so that's Monday through Friday. Before school, after school, I'm usually on for dinner and nighttime routine, and I will put him to bed. And then weekends, I mean, it varies every weekend. I'll usually be up with him at 7 on the weekends, and he'll have an ABA session in the morning, and then maybe someone else will come for a little bit, but he usually on for dinner and nighttime routine, and I'm always trying to find new things to do with him. So we've been going to the movies a lot because it's cold. So they have sensory friendly movies at AMC. So we will go to those. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing an incredible job, and I know sometimes it can be hard and it can be a lot because I was a care professional too, and those days can be long, but yeah, I love to hear that, Megan. You're doing it for 4 years already, and
No.
DJ, you made your bachelor's degree at the same time. That's incredible. So big applause to you guys. You're doing an incredible job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can you tell me about one specific moment where you thought, oh, this is exactly what it made worth it to come, what it made worth it to pass almost all of my fears and be like, okay, well, then push me forward?
Yeah, I would say probably I think probably about 4 months in, we definitely clicked with my house child on a very, me and him are very close in age. I'm 21, gonna be 22, and he's gonna be turning 20. So we're just a couple years apart. So we're almost I would say that we're almost like siblings, or we're almost like brothers, and I feel like that makes the bond a little more special. It's not like I'm like a parenting figure because I'm so much older than him. I get to have that bond with him. So I would say about 4 months in, we really clicked and got that brother-like bond going. And it's just been worth it ever since, right? We have so much fun, and I can look at him silly and he laughs, and tell him jokes and tell him secrets in his ear and he just laughs. So I think, allowing him, getting him to do things that he enjoys has really been worth it, and I take him out in the community. Today we're going to go to the mall because it's a half day. So we're gonna take him to the mall. Probably he likes to go look at the dogs, go walk around, look at all the stores. He likes to go to Pink because I have a huge mirror inside the Pink store. So he will always talk about it. I know it's such a weird store to learn to want to go to, but right inside the door, there's a huge mirror, and he just loves it. He loves looking at mirrors, looking at himself in his mirror. So I would say that definitely made it worth it, right? Once I had that bond going and we really clicked and, have that, bond, it was just amazing. And, it's been great ever since. We just have a really good relationship, and I definitely will miss him when I leave soon. So.
Oh, that gives me goosebumps. That's amazing.
It's like a second family, right? I think I've almost got another family, here, everyone's just like another family. So.
Right. Wow. What about you, Megan?
I think the same thing. I don't know if there's a specific moment for me, but I think, in the time, obviously you and your host child are both kind of gaining a relationship and that trust for the first couple weeks and months. So it is, when you first come, I mean, it's nerve-wracking, but it's fun to see, how they interact with the world and what they like to do. So it's fun to learn about your host child. And then when you finally click, it's oh my God, this is so fun. It's working with your best friend. And yeah, so I think that was a big moment, those little moments. And then also just every time my host child reaches a goal or like accomplishes something, it's so special. I always am like, oh my God, I'm so happy that I was at least a small sliver of this. Like it's special. So
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. What was an experience with your host child that made you very emotional, and what did you learn from your host child for life?
Wow, that's a loaded question. I don't know.
oh, I gotta think about this one.
I know. I could say like one. I would say one like emotional thing that happened was I got here in April of 2024, and then very quickly I took a trip away for a week in June. And when I returned back, he was like so happy to see me and like gave me a big hug and just like would not let go. So I would say that was kind of like a little emotional, right? Like he missed me a lot, and the lesson learned from that is that no matter, because he's nonverbal, so I would say like the lesson from that is no matter like how people communicate or show love or can tell you how much they love you, they always find a way to do that, right? And so like in that moment, he was like showing me that he missed me and loves me, and so that was a special moment.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Megan's still thinking.
I know. I'm like, it's been 4 years. I can't even remember at this point. Like,
I know, 4 years. That's a long time to think back.
I know. I want to say my first birthday party for my host child was like so amazing because every year on his birthday, he has a birthday party with all of everyone that's ever worked with him, everyone who's close to him in any way has been a part of his life. And we have pizza and ice cream cake is essential every year. But every year it's like it gets bigger and you just see the amount of people that he's touched and who want to stay close to him. And I think the lesson learned in that too is just, I mean, similar to what Ty said, I mean, my host child's pretty nonverbal, but the amount of people that he touches and, are still, there's people that come who haven't worked with him in like 10 years and they still come to celebrate him every year. And it's just so important. I mean, the relationships that these kids build are everything to them, which is so important.
Yeah, I agree. It's totally different, right? When you're in the house and part of it.
Yeah, I always joke that my host child has a better social life than me because the amount of people he has in his little circle there, it's huge. All these people from school and like we were at the store one time and some like random lady came up to him. I don't even know who this person is, and she knew him and he just like lit up and I was like, hey, well, he knows you. So it turns out she's like somebody from the school. So it's just so funny to see like how many connections like Megan said they make. They kind of like build their own little world of all these people.
Yeah. What do you want to tell your host parents that you're grateful for?
I would tell them that I'm grateful for this opportunity. Like just overall, I'm just so thankful for this opportunity. For one, them bringing a total stranger into their house and giving me the opportunities to build and grow. And I think with growth comes maturity. So I got to mature more. I got to have more growth, and I just got to see growth in my house child as well. So I'm thankful for all the growth that has been for me and for the family.
Amazing.
Yeah, I can go off of that. I mean, I'm super thankful for the opportunity and even all the opportunities I've gotten while here. And I'm thankful for, I mean, the trust that they put into me to take care of their child. I mean, that's really important. And yeah, I'm just thankful that they welcomed me with open arms too, because it can be scary. So the fact that they included me in holidays and celebrations and everything, it's a very special thing.
Yeah, amazing. What would you say would be new skills or experience you have gained because of being a live-in and going to a different state, living with the family? Like it can be personally or also professionally.
I would say professionally, in this role, some new skills that I got to gain would be like some like leadership skills, and the fact that there was two of us living here for a year. So just being able to navigate that, I was navigating the family and, being able to learn how to work with them and like how they operate, and kind of learn that dynamic. And then also building on top of that dynamic and being able to learn it with somebody else too. Because, we had a second care professional and we were completely two different, completely types of people, different social people, personalities, everything was completely different about us. And for the first month it was very awkward, and so I would say that allowed me to kind of talking with my host family and whatever, gaining some leadership skills, and the fact that learning how to navigate that barrier when maybe you're put in a situation with somebody that you aren't exactly alike. And I think that that builds a skill for me that's going to be useful for me and moving forward in the future, being an assistant store manager for Sherwin-Williams, and being able to like navigate those differences, and communication styles and personalities across the stores as well. So I'd say that's really one big thing for me that was a skill that I learned that I can translate across all sorts of different situations.
Was there anything from the work with your host child? Like, did you know before you did that experience how to hook him up on the feeding tube, for example, and how to dress somebody who's sitting in the wheelchair? Like,
Yeah, so I was a direct support professional, so I worked in a group home for 3.5 years before I came here. So I would say I pretty much had, I had all the skills that I use now with him before I came. I had done G-tubes, I had done medications through the G-tube, I have done G-tube feeds, all of those, dressing people in wheelchairs or dressing people that are in a Hoyer lift. So I had a wide experience coming here. So I would say I had the skill set to thrive in this situation when I arrived, as in that sense of the, working with him sign. So.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Megan?
I definitely have learned a lot in regards to, different speech sessions and OT. It's completely different than it is in a school setting. Like I said earlier, it's way more. I also worked with younger kids before, so their target goals are completely different. But I learned a lot about teaching life skills, because sometimes you forget and you're like, oh, this should be common sense sometimes, when it's really not. And so I definitely learned a lot about, just my teaching skill and my ability to do certain things. And that was my professional skills. I think personally too, you learn a lot about, like Ty said, working with different people, and it can be a lot to live with people and work for them. It's definitely a weird line that you cross sometimes, where it's like, okay, right now you're my boss and right now you're my friend, so it's like definitely learning those social things. And you can apply them a lot. In school settings as well, when you have parents of students, you're dealing with them a lot, and you're dealing with different staff members, and you're dealing with different therapists, and you really have to figure out how you can fit in that setting, and who's going to take charge and all that. So
Yeah, thank you. Who do you have met in the Apex community that will live beyond the time where you are at your host family? Did you met anybody from Apex, other care professionals, or other host families, or ACDs, for example, LCLs?
Yeah, I would say that I definitely met some care professionals within my time being here that we gained a really great friendship. And I'm actually going to plan a trip to Germany at some point this year to go see those people who are actually back in Germany now. So, that's an amazing, friendship I got to make with people who aren't from the US and, with different cultures. And I think that's just an amazing experience to be able to have that, as well as, Leanne, our ACD here, who's absolutely phenomenal. I love her so much. She's so great. And that's kind of another friendship per se, you could say, that I've built that will have a lifelong impact on me, and all of her support that she's given me through being through the Apex program, and as well as going through college. So those are like some major ones. Yeah.
Great.
I agree. I have a lot of people in Germany who I still keep in touch with. Even some of them have been gone for a year, and I still talk to them. I mean, it's hard with the time change, but those are friendships that are irreplaceable. And my ACD, I love her, Debbie. She's great. I actually was just talking to her yesterday for my late January check-in. So yeah, it's great.
That's great. Awesome. I love to hear that. We are meeting here people from America and be friends with them, but you actually also meet people from Germany, which gives you a whole opportunity to come to Europe, right? That's incredible. Awesome. Where did you have traveled while you were a care professional?
I've been to California, to San Clemente, to the surf outing. I've been to Florida with my host family. I'm actually going back to California in about 13 days, to San Diego with my host family here. Got to travel to New Hampshire, to see some relatives of the host families. Where else have I been? Oh, I've been to New York City. That was amazing and totally worth the trip. Everyone always talks about New York City. It was so amazing. Absolutely loved it. And then I've been back home a handful of times as well. So, it's kind of been, I think I traveled back home every 6 months for about a week-ish. So, I'm a big family person. So traveling back home to see family and see what they're up to has been good too. So that's pretty much the bout of my travel the last 2 years. I've been busy, doing school. So I didn't, I think maybe some people maybe had some more opportunities to travel a little more than I did. And people who aren't, in school would also have the opportunity to travel a little more than I did. But I was very focused on school during my time here. So I would say that I did some travel, but not as much as I probably could have.
Great.
I know, it's
Megan, I
crazy
guess in those
because
4 years.
yeah, I know. Well, it's crazy because I'm from the United States and I feel like I haven't seen anything. But when I moved to New Jersey, I finally started going places. I go to Florida with my host family as well. Every couple months we go, which is nice. And I have been to Nashville and DC. My first time in DC was while I was here. I've been to San Clemente as well for the surf outing a couple years ago. I was just in St. Thomas, so that was the Virgin Islands, which was fun. And I went to Puerto Rico. I tried to do a birthday trip every year, so that was for the most part my big travel week.
Beautiful. Great. What would you tell other young Americans that consider joining Apex and have some worries?
I would say my biggest advice is just, just go for it. I think that's like execution is the biggest thing. If you can just kind of get over those fears with the positive aspects of everything that could come out of the experience, and just give it a try, I mean, and if it doesn't work out, there's also options to look for, another family, in a different location as well if it doesn't work out in the current family that you picked. But I would say definitely like, interviewing with your family several times. And like I said, I had 3 interviews with them, and then we kept maintaining a relationship through text and a weekly video call until my arrival. So that was really helpful, and kind of overcoming some of the fears and just kind of executing it. But I'd say, yeah, if you're kind of on the fence about it, just do it. And it most likely is going to be one of the best things you've decided to do in your life.
Yeah, I'll go off of that, and I'll say, you never know till you try. And just like Ty said, nothing's permanent. If you are absolutely having the worst time and you're super uncomfortable, which I think would be uncommon, then Apex will help you find a new host family, or you could go home. I mean, nothing's permanent. And yeah, it might just be the best thing you've ever decided to do. I agree with that.
I totally agree with that too. I think that the fear you're having is not compared to what you're getting after you took that step, because it opens up so many opportunities. And as you said, even if you're getting problems or think like, oh, that's not the right fit, there's always people from Apex which can support you and help you, right? Awesome. Can you summarize your experience with Apex in one single sentence?
Oh,
That's
asking
hard.
a lot here. 2 years in one sentence. Oh boy, Mike is going to have a harder time. 4
Oh,
years
my
in one
God.
sentence.
I'm gonna have a run-on sentence.
Oh, okay. I got to turn on my brain power for this one. Let's see here. I know it's going to sound a little redundant, but, I feel like it's kind of like an overcap of everything that's, happened in the last 2 years I've been here. But so for my sentence, I would say that my experience in a sentence could be, let's see if I can do this in a sentence. It's been an amazing opportunity that allowed me to grow personally, professionally, all around as a person. Yeah, that's my sentence. There you go. I kept it to a sentence.
Awesome.
All right. Oh my God. Okay. I would say my sentence is, my time at Apex has been unique and irreplaceable, and it has given me too many opportunities that I don't know what to do with. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. That was an incredible share of your experience, and I love to hear those stories. I can only feel with you because I was in that same situation, but it's so incredible to hear that you as an American had kind of the same experience as someone who's coming from abroad from Germany to America, right? Because we Germans always forget that America is so huge, and if you're moving to another state, it's kind of like living in another country, right? Or what was your experience? Would you sign that?
Yeah, I would say that you could say that it's like, every state has their own like culture in a way. And I mean, there's even communities within states that have their own culture. So I would say that you could pretty much compare it to like you're moving to a different, it would be like in Europe, like if you're going from like Germany to London, it's kind of like a different experience, and every state is going to have a little bit of a different experience.
Right. Yeah. So I'm very, very happy to hear that you had also the experiences we have as Germans, and that your horizon opened up a lot, and that you experienced so much more professionally and personally. So I'm very, very thankful that you took the time to share that with me, and that will be very helpful for other future care professionals to hear that. And yeah, if you have any other questions or need any assistance, you can always reach out to me, and we go from there.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much, guys.
Super. My
You're
last
welcome. Thank
my
you.
last sentences to it is we're so proud of you that you have taken the chance of a lifetime and moved into a different city and a different state, and that you trusted Apex Social and our entire team. And as a result, you grew so much as a person and as a professional. I cannot thank you enough for your brave move to take this opportunity and make something great from it. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, guys.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Thank you. Have a great
Bye.
day.
We need you. Together, we change healthcare and education for the better. Take that first step. Get in touch, message us, join us. Together, we empower children of all abilities.